All America, all the time. Sit down, buckle up, and get ready for The Dan Bongino Show.
Folks, a couple of announcements. I will, due to a last minute, what do we call it, schedule change, guys? I don't know how to describe it. Unfortunately, there will not be a show tomorrow. I will be back on Wednesday. It's not an emergency. I'm not dying. It is not health related. It's nothing serious. It's just an opportunity presented itself for something, and I will talk to you about it on Wednesday. Also, I will not be on the air Monday, a week from today, either. It is also another opportunity that had presented itself, and you'll understand that it'll actually make for a better show the next day, because having eyes on these matters, if you get where I'm going with this, is always better than hearing about it from the left-wing media later. You get it? Get it? Got it? You see where I'm going with all this? So no show tomorrow. We'll be back on Wednesday. It's a good thing, not a bad thing, and I promise it'll make for a better show. I wish we didn't have to do it that way, but we do. So, well, some of you are figuring it out in the chat. So, you guys in the chat are the best. We got this new shirt. I don't know if you like it. I love it. This was actually one of the few shirts that's ever been my idea. Most of the cool shirts are either from the audience or Paula. 250 years of freedom, liberty, and kicking ass. I couldn't think of any other way to say it. That's really what it is. I love me some history, and thinking about Washington crossing the Delaware, guys with no shoes freezing to death, and amazing. Undefeated 250-year world champ, 250 years freedom, liberty, and kicking ass. You can check it out at the store. What is it? I'm the worst. I don't even know. What? Store.bongino.com. Up to you. It's just, we put them out there. So I got a lot to talk about this week. And let me just say in advance before we get to it, I'm really sorry we have to do this. I am. I'm not effing around with you. I don't ask for these things, but when these things fall in my lap, it is my obligation, because what's starting to happen right now has gotten very serious. I don't talk about it often because the show is about issues and not about me. But when the issue is me, then it's my obligation to correct and expose what's really going on. So I'm really sorry about the portion of the show today. And I understand if it's not for you, but it's necessary. It's a long time coming. You'll see what I mean coming up. So I got a lot to talk about today, including Trump's interview this weekend with Kristen Welker, which was just epic with a capital E. Hey, many Americans try weight loss shots, but they quit due to costs, side effects, Instead, I chose Lean from Brickhouse Nutrition. I used it. Product was amazing. I put on some weight after that cancer treatment thing. I got to get rid of it. My knees were bad. No needles, no prescriptions. Try Lean. Go to brickhousenutrition.com/Dan. Use code Dan for 20% off. Results vary, not FDA approved. Thanks, Brickhouse. Give Lean a shot. Also, today's show, Blackout Coffee. You'll see it on my desk in the steel cup every single day. Listen, if you're starting your day with that watered down, big corporate brown water coffee, you're doing it all wrong. Every morning, I get my Blackout Coffee ready to go. Strong, bold, no nonsense, exactly how coffee should be. And by the way, the smell in the office of the coffee, who does the coffee anymore? You, Justin? Andy? It's amazing. We love Blackout here. Blackout Coffee is a small American company that actually shares your values. They roast some of the best coffee I've ever had. Bold, never bitter. But listen, it's important. Don't just buy a bag. Join the coffee club. That's what I do. Your coffee shows up automatically. You save money, you get free shipping, and you're never stuck drinking bad coffee again. Plus, you start stacking rewards and even hook you up with a bonus credit after a few deliveries. Right now, they've got some really cool limited releases for the 250th anniversary of the United States. You don't want to miss those. Blackout Coffee. Go today to blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino. Use code Bongino for 20% off your first order. Drink yourself some good coffee. It's blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino. Join the coffee club today. Trust me, once you switch, you are not going back. All right, fellas, let's go. Little delay on the bell. It's okay. So I understand. You guys and ladies out there have real lives. You go out there and, you're working for a living. You're plumbers, you're HVAC repair people, you're engineers, pilots, military, law enforcement. You do things. You create value. Everyone from the, guy or woman out there who creates furniture out there to the guy or woman who writes code that runs our businesses and our water plants and everything else. It's boring to talk about like what a bunch of talking heads have to say about each other. However, when what talking heads say about each other is epidemic of a larger problem within a movement, being infected with a mind virus, unfortunately, you are the story. So I was sitting around this weekend enjoying myself. It was a great weekend on the water. I love the water. It's just relaxing. I grew up in New York where the only water we had was a freaking fire hydrant. So for me, living down here in Florida, I wouldn't say like I have a Salt Life sticker on my car. That'd be kind of phony, be like wearing a cowboy hat when I'm from New York. I'm not from Texas. I'm not a cowboy, okay? However, I really do enjoy it out there. And I had to deal with some knuckleheads, okay? So I'm bringing this up because, ladies and gentlemen, we have a movement to save. And if you saw what happened to Erica Kirk this weekend at one of her Turning Point events, normal people would be just absolutely revolted and disgusting. You'd be vomiting like Reagan in The Exorcist, green pea soup. The movement, ladies and gentlemen, is being hijacked from the inside. I can't say this enough. It's not a coincidence that Hunter Biden has popped out of the woodwork screaming Epstein and the Jews with his old buddy Tucker and elsewhere, popping on conservative shows, trying to decimate and destroy us from the inside, and suckers are falling for it. You do not want to be these people. The truth is in front of you. The receipts are there. If you choose to believe this crazy stuff like the left believed in the Russia collusion hoax, I promise you'll go down in flames as the Tower of Babel did. You need some component of objective truth to have a movement. Do not become these guys. Here's Scott Pelley from 60 Minutes, who now is not working there anymore. We affectionately call it 61 Minutes after the Kamala Harris-Trump campaign and that debacle where they when they really screwed over President Trump, right? Scott Pelley's not there. So he gives an interview. And I want you to listen to, this is what happens when you have a movement not bedrocked and a compass true north, and you get charlatans, clowns, goofballs, alcoholics, zeros, and basically sexual deviants who take over your movement. This is what happens. You wind up having a movement where nobody knows what the truth is anymore. Amazingly, Pelley's not working at 60 Minutes anymore because of a dispute over what he thinks was, media bias, or he doesn't understand why people think they're biased, and he's looking for evidence. Now, Scott Pelley's a journalist, so we'll give him the evidence. And once we give him the evidence after this clip, let's see if Scott Pelley revises what he said. This is what the lack of truth looks like in a movement. Check this out.
She, I am told, said something to the effect of, why do you think the country thinks you're biased? But she didn't offer any kind of a metric. What's your metric? Why do you think so? Do you have a poll? Is there market research? What are you talking about? Because we certainly didn't believe that.
So is there a poll? Is there market research? Scott Pelley claims to be a journalist. He could just look that up. He could go to like ChatGPT or Google Gemini or Grok or anything like that and say, hey, is there a poll about media bias? So because Scott Pelley, who claims to be a journalist at 60 Minutes and loves to brag about all his exploits and truth finding and truth, he probably still believes in the Russia hoax for all we know, right? We decided we were going to put up the poll, which has been on the show for days, which he could just look up himself. Hat tip Christina Wong would put this out. Trust in the media since 1972 to 2025 is down 5.3 points. Justin's like, no, that's not what it says, Dan. It's not down 5.3 points. Trust in the media is down 53 points. 53 points. Trust in the media. Percentage of Americans who have a great deal or quite a lot of trust in the mass media. It is less than 20%. 19%. So 1 in 5 Americans, only 1 in 5, actually less than 1 in 5, actually trust the media. This is what it looks like when your freaking job is objective truth and you ask that up. This wasn't even mine. This took Justin, less than 2 minutes? All sides, CBS News rated lean left. A total of 382 people rated CBS News. There's a poll right there. You can just look at it yourself. Maybe it was your role in promoting the Russia hoax. Maybe it was your role with Leslie Stahl. Sir! There was no spying on your campaign, sir. Did Leslie Stahl miss the FISA warrant? The Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, FISA court warrant on the Trump campaign? Leslie, Foreign Intelligence, chat's blowing up. I love this. I love you guys, always repping the cause. The Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, courts. Did you miss that, Les? Leslie, did you miss that? Folks, do not, and I will not ever let it happen. Not on my watch here. This is the most popular MAGA show out there. It's not in dispute. That's just the facts, okay? I am not going to let this movement go down in flames. I'm not. I'm not going to let people hijack it. I'm not going to let bullshitters, clowns, bums, zeros, and life losers come in here and try to get people off compass true north into these witch hunts out there on where they start this bullshit, they throw a shit grenade in a tent, and they run away. I'm not going to let it happen. So this happened this weekend at Turning Point. This is just disgraceful. Erica Kirk, who's an American hero at this point for what she's had to put up with, her husband was brutally assassinated in a social media assassination where the video went viral probably before they even had the details. There is an active criminal investigation going on right now, and there is going to be a due process trial where people are going to have to swear to a set of facts, okay? Erica Kirk was at a Turning Point event this weekend, and some freaking lunatic, folks, this is getting dangerous. Let me just tell you, listen to me. This is really important. I'm not going to say someone's going to die because someone's already dead. I'm not going to say someone's going to get shot because multiple people have already been shot. I'm not going to say President Trump's life's going to be in danger because it's already in danger. Something is going to happen because of these lunatics. I don't make it about me, but we have had numerous issues. Here's Erica Kirk. This is just disgusting. Check this out.
It is so fleeting, but the joy of the Lord withstands all.
Erica Kirk protects pedophile! Erica Kirk protects pedophile!
It's important to remember that happiness comes and goes, and I pray that you find it.
Of course, the epitome of class. It's funny how that absolute mother psychopath who's saying thinks they came out. I don't know if it was a woman or a man, based on how crazy these people, I don't know what that was. But say it was the shrieking, crazy lunatic, could have been a dude, I don't even know. Screaming like a lunatic, actually thinks like that makes them look good. What you don't realize is the little bot army behind you getting you to do that is not a real authentic measure. Yes, there is a small cabal of crazy people just like you, but the rage bot army you get reinforcement on is not real. Everyone else is either laughing at you or is horrified by you as they sit there and watch Erica Kirk gracefully have to deal with a lunatic after her husband was murdered. A patriot and a hero for the movement. Folks, this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like when you get off compass true north and you get known, documented, here's the receipts, liars and frauds running this movement. So I saw Tucker had that dipshit Jimmy Doof, or whatever the F his name is. He calls himself a comedian. I don't even know what he is. Who knows? But we're on the show again, and they have this weird, like it's this passive aggressive kind of thing where Tucker didn't have the balls to say anything direct. So what he does is he brings his people on, and he has his social media people do it because he's a eunuch. Okay, he's a little Nepo baby. He's never him and his life loser zero of a brother. Their daddy's probably looking down in disgrace that they spawned these two losers. But he decides to go on a show and gets all cute with his social media people, again, with the Epstein and the Jews and all this stuff. This is just their entire life, which is kind of weird because his buddy, Tucker's buddy, who were both Nepo babies themselves, Hunter Biden, they were buddies? If there was ever an Epstein class of people, it's these two. It's these two whose entire lives, the little bosom buddies, Hunter Carlson, the tag team, like the Road Warriors in the WWF or something, like a little tag team. They slap each other off. Are like two little Nepo babies who've never earned a single thing in their entire life. Little bums, losers. And Tucker's, his brother Fuckley Buckley, Fuckley? He's another one. Another little Nepo baby bum. What does he do exactly? So they decide to go on the show and bring the little surrogate, Jimmy Doof, in there. And of course, they have to bullshit you again. So I'll show you some receipts to show you how Tucker's just making this up. Because he just needs, again, Tucker wants to make sure, and these people, that maximum chaos results and that this kind of stuff happens at Turning Point. Not that we focus on what's going on in geopolitics, the economy, the government cleanup happening now, none of that. Hat tip Milk Bar TV for this amazing compilation. So you think Tucker's a beacon of truth? You're one of his audience members. You're like, no, Dan, he's a truth teller, man. Tucker's the guy. He's the compass true north. Is he? Here is 3 straight minutes of a now nuclear viral video of Fucker Carlson out there for 3 minutes, basically debating himself. You only have to debate yourself when you don't remember your own lies. You want receipts? Here you go. Check this out.
My view is you can kind of tell who's telling the truth. You can smell it.
You've been talking on your show about whether Trump is the Antichrist.
I have not said that.
On your show, you said, could this be the Antichrist?
I actually did not say, could this be the Antichrist?
Could this be the Antichrist?
I don't know where that comes from, but I know that those words never left my lips.
Raised some eyebrows this week when you said that Hamas is more like a political organization than a terror group.
Hamas is a group of jihadis. They're Islamic extremists, which they also claim constantly, which I don't know if that's true, by the way. It seems more like a political organization.
I didn't say that.
The future that I imagine is not a future in which we're yelling at each other about race. It's a future in which people are legitimately revolutionary, maybe even violent.
You said in our previous interview, the future that I imagine is not a future in which we're yelling at each other about race. It's a future in which people are legitimately revolutionary, maybe even violent.
I'm amazed that you have a tape of me saying that, and I just want to disavow it. A lot of young men in America, mostly white, but not exclusively, listen to Nick Fuentes really carefully. This kid is the single most influential figure among young white men, and not just white, actually.
Is that true?
Oh, it's definitely true.
Of course, half the thing was about Fuentes, and who cares? Fuentes?
There was a lot of Fuentes.
Who cares about Fuentes? Talk about irrelevant.
America's supporting Israel because it's an ally.
I don't even know what those words mean. I'm just saying principle
they're an ally, right? I mean, they both...
I don't know what that means to be an ally.
Qatar is one of our closest allies in the world. The largest American air base in the Middle East is in Qatar. They're a close ally of ours.
I come to Israel and the infrastructure, we were flying in, and I said to my buddy, I was like, man, first of all, it looks great. I love the agriculture in Israel because it's beautiful. I love green. I love plants.
I remember when it didn't look like that.
Yeah.
First time I came in 53 years ago.
It's great. Israel, which is one of the single ugliest countries in the world. Nothing of beauty has been built there since 1948. Sorry, I've been everywhere in that country, and it's true. Let me get to the nub of the question, since again, a lot is at stake. A lot of money is at stake. Land is very valuable. Israel has a lot of resources. We have a huge country. This is a country the size of New Jersey with no resources. An attack on Western civilization looks like this. It's tribalism. It's identity politics. It's DEI. It's whatever. It's Zionism. It's any belief system that begins with the understanding that one group is morally superior to other groups. Well, just on principle, every other group in the world has the right to its own homeland except white people? What? JD has been subject to, this is well known, but I'll just confirm it, nonstop treachery.
Accusing people of treachery, so I'm wondering, who do you mean specifically?
I don't know the answer to that. I've never worked there. So like, if you don't work there, you can say, you can say what you think you know, but it's hard to really know.
If I was telling my kids, if you think someone's lying to you, you're right.
It's not my words. See, unlike fucker Carlson, right? Guy's face looks like a dirty fucking Q-tip. He gives that stupid look and that cackle. Unlike fucker, I actually did stuff. Actual stuff. I didn't see him volunteering for anything. I didn't see him want to give up his show and walk away from all that for a government salary. So Tucker finds it convenient always to bring people on. And it's always two things with them. Because remember, there's only one criteria for Tucker to be your friend, it appears at this point. And that's like where you are on the Jews. Like, that's it. That seems to be his only criteria. And then conveniently, Hunter Biden like pops up again and goes on, was it Candace Owens' show, and starts talking about what? The Epstein class and the Jews. The Epstein class, the connected elites. And these are the connected elites. Pull up, you have ChatGPT or something. You think I'm making this up? Tucker Carlson's talking about like the connected elites and the Epstein class. Tell me about Tucker Carlson's relationship with Hunter Biden. This isn't me. This is ChatGPT. Tucker and Hunter Biden appear to have a friendly personal relationship for years before Carlson became one of Hunter Biden's most prominent media critics. Wow, they were buddies? Here's some key facts that emerged from emails and public reporting. Carlson and his wife asked Hunter for help regarding their son Buckley's application at Georgetown University. It cites the Washington Post. Other emails suggest the two were on friendly terms. Hunter referred to Carlson as a friend. Carlson reportedly intervened with a newspaper editor on Hunter's behalf regarding a personal story, Business Insider. It goes on. You can check it out yourself. And they're talking about the Epstein class. I tell you what, my father was a plumber. My mother worked in Finest Supermarket at 64th Place and Myrtle Avenue. I worked in a cemetery, cleaning mausoleums. I was a New York City cop, a Secret Service agent, and went and ran the FBI for the past year. I never had some Nepo baby connections. I don't know what your dad, it's not my fault. Like your whole life has been paved for you and now you're angry because you are the class of people you're talking about. You're it. It's not me. Folks, it's fairly obvious what he's doing right now, and he's causing a very dangerous situation. I get it. Being a public figure, I've said it over and over. It unfortunately comes with the territory, but that doesn't mean I welcome it, and I have a family too. So if you're going to bullshit people about me, which your goofy-ass Jimmy douchebag, whatever the hell his name is, on the show, about the whole Epstein thing, I ask, well, what did you do? Because it's already public information how I didn't want to let the case go. It was an entire news cycle over the summer in case you missed it. Oh, yeah, we talked about that, didn't we, too? You know this. It's already been reported by multiple people in the administration. They're right there. The people that really appreciated what a big deal this are talking about the Epstein case were Kash Patel and Deputy Director Dan Bongino. It goes on. These are outlets, by the way, that don't even like me. Vanity Fair, New York Times. The two top FBI officials, Patel and Bongino, had been pushing for a broader release of the Epstein material after finding little in the files that added what was already widely known about the president's interactions with Mr. Epstein. It's right there. You can read it all. Of course, it's all public. He knows that. Now, Jimmy Douchebag doesn't know. Jimmy Douchebag is probably got the IQ of a speckled-toed sloth, but Tucker knows that. Tucker just wants to cause a dangerous situation for me and others. Now, the fact that I was always on the side of transparency here, and it was a process, believe me, it was complicated. It was grand jury material, victims' names. Anyone telling you it was easy, I told you there's no heroes in the story, okay? There were a lot of people who really tried hard to get this, and now it's out there and you can check it out yourself. But painting me as part of some like elite class of people covering up this thing when I was resolutely focused on it and tasked hundreds of guys to this case to go through everything on it. You're just doing it because you want me to get hurt or you want other people to get hurt too. He knows that's bullshit. By the way, Tucker's son worked in the administration himself. It's just a fact. I'm sure he aired his grievances, right? Oh, he did. Oh, that's all. I don't say that's off limits. My family's okay. Did he air his grievances? I don't know. I don't know. Folks, you don't want to become like these people, Scott Pelley and this freaking lunatic. This is what happens when you start to get, when objective truth doesn't matter. And a bunch of snake oil salesmen, hucksters, and bullshit artists at a 1920s carnival start to take off and start to gain prominence. This is how the Tower of Babel happens, when there is no objective truth anymore. And clowns like this loser, who I just played you 3 minutes of receipts from Milk Bar TV. What else could you possibly want to hear? That he's making this, I just showed you receipts, how the story he's telling you about Epstein and the Epstein class, he is the Epstein class. I was on the other side of that, but he's inverted it because it's convenient for him. Because he likes to hurt. He likes to hurt people. This is what happens when this happens. And there's no objective north, true north anymore, no compass true north. Here's a Graham Plattner rally. They interview some lady. They ask a very simple question. Hey, does it bother you that he had a Nazi tattoo on his chest? And the lady just kind of gasps it off. But then they say, well, what if he had an Israeli flag? Oh, well, that's a bridge too far. Wherever you stand on the country of Israel and have a relationship, that's up to you. But just to be clear, a Nazi insignia is okay, but an Israeli flag isn't. You really want to be a part of this movement? Check this out.
Totem pole tattoo, the Nazi tattoo. How do you kind of?
Somebody said that they talked to somebody who had seen one of those or wore one of those, and it was silver, and it didn't even occur to him that it was the same thing. I think people are making as much of it as they can because they don't have a lot of substance around anything else. And if they did, we'd hear about it, believe me. They are trolling for dirt.
What if he has like a Israeli flag tattoo or something? Would that be a deal breaker?
For me?
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah.
That would be
Israeli? Yeah, because I don't support genocide and he doesn't either. And that would show that he was being inconsistent. And he's been very consistent about that. Straight across the board.
Keep in mind, if this lady were to have said the end part of that, the end part, hey, I just disagree with what Israel's doing in Gaza or elsewhere, you're fine, vote however you want. That's your call. That's your call. That's not the point. The point is she has no problem with a Nazi tattoo. And then she's like, no, that's a bridge too far. Folks, I told you, you don't want a part of that movement, man. You know where this goes. You can read a history book just like I can. When your only criteria, you know, it's incredible again, that Fuckley and Fucker, right? Like all they want to do, they don't want to talk about Bill Clinton in those files. They don't want to talk about all of the people who were talking shit about it and then their names popped up in the file and all of a sudden everybody got quiet. They don't want to talk about any of that. They only want to talk about the people who cared about getting it out there for you to see it. Why is that? Maybe because I just won't come out and say, I hate the Jews. Because I don't. And I'm going to fight that shit. Always. Always. Any kind of collective hatred to any group. That's the only, I promise you, if I were to come out tomorrow and shamefully utter those words, you would never hear another word about it. Fact. It's all bullshit, man. Don't fall for it. All right, quick break. I got a lot more to get to, including there's a big meltdown going on over soon-to-be acting DNI Bill Pulte. Donald Trump's already said, President Trump, it's a temporary thing. Everyone needs to chill for a second on this thing. I got that, and Lucky Trump strikes again, of course. This guy's the luckiest guy ever. Folks, weight loss injections are everywhere, but here's the catch. About 15% of users quit. The cost, another 15% stop because of side effects. A while back, I told you, after the whole treatment and stuff, I went through that health scare. I put on some weight. My joints were really bothering me. So I lost about 35 pounds using Lean. It's the best product on the market, in my opinion. I chose Lean from Brick House Nutrition. Here's why. These weight loss shots, they work by helping control blood sugar and appetite so you eat less. No argument, the shots can work for many people, but Lean was doctor formulated to do similar things naturally. Lean helped tackle my hunger and helped support steady energy without constant cravings. Lean did something injections don't. It helped my body turn fat into energy, so I burn fat instead of storing it. My favorite part, Lean is a nutritional supplement. It's not an injection. There's no prescriptions. There's no needles. I lost weight with Lean. I love the product. I believe you can too. Me and Paula both use it. Go to brickhousenutrition.com/Dan. Use promo code Dan for 20% off. Great product. brickhousenutrition.com/Dan. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. The product's not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent any disease. It's not a substitute or alternative for care from a healthcare provider. Today's show also brought to you by Ethos. Listen, when you become a parent, it completely changes everything. How you think about responsibility, it certainly did for me. You start realizing how fast life can shift and move around and how important it is to have things in place so your family isn't left scrambling if there's an emergency or the unexpected, God forbid, were to happen. Prepare now. It's got me thinking seriously about life insurance, not as a scary topic, but as a part of basic planning. What really stood out to me about Ethos is how simple and easy they've made the process. Everything's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and for many people, coverage can start the same day. If there's no medical exam, you just answer a few health questions online. That alone removes a lot of friction that keeps people from even starting. Ethos helps provide financial security, and that matters. It's designed to fit real families and real budgets. Check them out. Just take a look, right? Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get up to $3 million in coverage in as little as 10 minutes at ethos.com/Bongino. It's ETHOS. Take 10 minutes, get covered today with life insurance through Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/Bongino. That's ETHOS.com/Bongino. Application times may vary. Results may vary. Visit ethos.com for details. Thank you, Ethos. We appreciate it. Just a quick hit on this story. There's been like a meltdown over Bill Pulte being named acting DNI after DNI now Tulsi Gabbard steps aside. She's got a medical crisis in her family. Okay, so Bill, the meltdown has been just, I haven't seen anything like it in a long time. Now, I saw this at the Wall Street Journal, and this is long overdue. Maybe he's the change agent they need on a temporary basis. I just give the guy a shot. Wall Street Journal has a piece up where Donald Trump told him that you got to clean the place out. Folks, the DNI, my humble opinion, haven't worked, and it's not a reflection of any specific person. It's just the whole creation of the DNI post 9/11. It was just another bureaucracy on top of the bureaucracy. Again, it's not a reflection of any particular personality or person. It's just tautologically was another layer on top of a layer that, in my opinion, haven't worked inside the IC over the past year and haven't seen the interaction. I just don't think, and I think President Trump might agree based on some of the comments we've seen coming out, that we don't need this entire huge office of another intelligence bureaucracy. It didn't help. It didn't help stop the Russia hoax. A lot of intel gets missed when there's constant emails and people need, 35 different people need to, sign off on something. Give the guy a shot. See what he does. You don't like it, he's only acting, whatever, you move on. We find a permanent person for the spot. But the meltdown, I think it's emanating from people in the intel bureaucracy just desperately trying to hold on to our jobs. But listen, the Trump team's not messing around, folks. The Trump administration, contrary to the people who all they want to talk about is the Jews and Epstein. That's all they want to talk about, right? And bullshit conspiracy theories and other stuff. The Trump team is not messing around. They are producing W's and wins every day in less than 2 years on the job that you can choose to ignore, but I'm not going to ignore them because my kids live in this country. And I elected and chose this president on my ballot and elected myself, but chose him on my ballot because I wanted someone to go up and go back into the White House and shake things up. Look at this chart by E.J. Antoni. How do you ignore this? This is a chart. The number of federal bureaucrats, he notes, declined again in May. The 17th straight month of declines. Look at this chart. People have talked about leaning out the federal bureaucracy for seriously, like 7,000 years, like pre-Declaration of Independence. They've always talked about this. Nobody actually does it. This is happening right now. If Pulte goes in and clears up the bureaucratic mess over there too, it's another W. He has assembled a set of people in his administration, President Trump, who ask simple questions like, why isn't this fixed yet? Why isn't this fixed yet? He's got a rock star team of talent. And I'm not telling you like the trust me bro stuff. I'm telling you, just pay attention. That's not trust me, that's a chart. Federal bureaucrats and government workers are down dramatically. Like that's an actual number. That's like a compass true north objective fact. Here he is. Here's Marco Rubio asked again about Iran. And the only reason I bring Iran up now too is because it's really odd, like how many people who hate this president really want like the death to America Iranians to win. They're obviously, their economy's struggling. Their oil system's fracturing. They're breaking down. They can't find people to make decisions. And you constantly hear on the news, like how great the Iranians are. Like they're like cheering on the other side, like number one foamy figure, go Iranian mullahs. It is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. So they catch Marco Rubio, Secretary of State and NSA, National Security Advisor, Plainside, and they ask him about this exact question. Check this out.
The Iranian foreign minister accusing U.S. and Israel of genocide, essentially.
The Iranian woman. Oh, okay. Well, he's an expert in genocide. They're experts in that because, they sponsor terrorism all over the world. And they've killed thousands and thousands of people. Look at the Middle East. Look at the Middle East, guys. Every problem in the Middle East tracks back to Iran. Hezbollah, Iran. Shia militias that are destroying and threatening Iraq, Iran. Hamas, Iran. The Houthis, Iran. Assad when he was in Syria, Iran. Everywhere you turn, they're behind all of it. They are a destabilizing, dangerous, evil force that had to be dealt with. They have to be weakened.
Yeah, fact check, true. So President Trump gave an interview. Did you catch the Kirsten Welker? Is it Kristen? I don't even. The Welker interview this weekend. This is some just grade A, like prime steak material right here. They get into a conversation about Iran too. And I just want to say, like, these media people, the questions they ask are so like, questions are good. A back and forth is good. But these aren't questions. They're like, when did you stop beating your wife questions? It's just ridiculous. It's like they're cheering for the Iranians. Listen to President Trump with Kristen Welker, who seemed so flustered by this whole interview. Some of the screenshots of like the looks and the back and forth are just epic. But here's his answer on this topic too. This is important. It's true. Check this out.
Iran was the closest to developing weapons-grade uranium after you ripped up the nuclear deal because there were no guardrails in place.
They were developing it during the nuclear deal.
Right.
You don't know that?
Let's.
Iran, when Obama signed that stupid deal where he paid them billions and billions of dollars, he thought he could bribe them. Listen to me. They were developing a nuclear weapon. That's how they got there. They got all of this uranium during Obama. You know that, don't you? Well, that's how they got there. Don't say this. They got there. They developed it during the Barack Hussein Obama, during his administration.
They've escalated their development after the deal was wrapped up. But let's talk about the economy. I want to talk about the economy.
If I didn't go in there with the B-2 bombers, they would right now have a nuclear weapon, and it could be that half of the world would be eradicated.
I love when she tries to change the topic the minute President Trump brings up the fact that they never stopped trying to produce a nuclear weapon. Oh, Kristen, you're going to tell me, you sure? Like you were in on those briefings? Because I was. I don't know where you were. You know something different? I was in on those briefings. Not sure you were there. I don't remember seeing you there. I would have recognized you. I don't remember going, hey, what's she doing in here? She just doesn't know. She's big. Oh, let's talk about the economy. Okay, let's talk about the economy. Matter of fact, let's cover Lucky Trump on the economy again. Here's Lucky Trump as the economy. This is CNN, by the way, that hates Donald Trump, okay? Here is CNN forced to cover, by the way, a story that must have been very traumatizing for them. In addition to E.J. Antoni's tweet about government bureaucrats collapsing because Donald Trump is leaning out the government workforce, trust in the media at an all-time low. Again, it's a data point, right? It's a data point, right? Here's actual numbers. This isn't bullshit. This isn't the Jews did it, the Epstein class did it. These are actual numbers, actual added jobs to the economy. You know, again, a thing that's actually happening when people are telling you nothing's happening when they're talking about the Jews and all that stuff. Here's CNN forced to cover the amazing job numbers. They don't even know what to say. And I love how they say, but at one point they're like, roughly 100. No, it's actually closer to 200,000 every month when you read the actual numbers in the revisions. Check this out.
The U.S. economy adding 172,000 jobs last month. That easily surpassed the forecast, which was for 105,000. Also, March and April were both revised higher. That is encouraging, and that means that the U.S. economy has now added 100,000 jobs or more in 3 straight months. We haven't seen that in more than 2 years.
What do you mean 100,000 or more? Can you put those numbers up again? Lucky Trump strikes again. One was 214,000. That's like or more. One was what, 179,000? That's like 79,000 or mores. And then what was the other one, like 74,000 if my memory's good? That's like 74,000 or more, or 72. I'm sorry, 72, guys. That's a lot of or mores. You could cover that 2 ways. You could say, well, close to 200,000 average, which would be accurate. Or you could say 100,000 or more. You notice every single thing they say is slanted in a way to make it sound worse. This is not journalism. It's bullshit.
That is encouraging, and that means that the U.S. economy has now added 100,000 jobs or more
right.
in
or
3
more.
straight months.
Or
we
more.
haven't seen that in more than 2 years.
2 years. Wow. It's almost like things are happening. Now, compare and contrast. Who did that? I'm sorry. I mean, if you listen on Apple and Spotify, you got to watch the show on Rumble. You got. That's great. Very good. Very good. I like it. Compare and contrast that with what's going on in your liberal, Mount Olympus, California, where they can't even count the freaking votes. Ladies and gentlemen, Election Day is close to a week ago. They still don't know who the first and second place finishers are in the gubernatorial race, in the mayor's race, and the other primary races. They don't know. This is your liberal. This is what you want to compare it to? This guy, the president's racking up dubs upon dubs upon dubs. Lucky Trump strikes again. The left can't even count a vote. You get these media people. These people, it's 100,000 or more. That's a lot of or mores. Here's President Trump again with Kristen Welker this weekend when he's talking about like, hey, is this an election or what? Or a freaking clown show? Are you guys ever going to figure out who won this race? The Democrats could institute some simple rules in California. Get your ballot in by Election Day. We'll count them in advance like we do in Florida. We'll have a result. They just choose not to. Because they love the chaos. Because the chaos creates opportunity for them. Here's Trump calling her out on this, and I'm going to play an election official desperately trying to explain this thing away. Check this out.
4 days, and they aren't even close to coming up with it.
That's how they count
You know
the
why
votes
they're
in
doing that? Because they're cheating on the election.
Do you have evidence to support
All I have to do is look. All I have to do is look.
That's not
and
evidence.
I listen to people. And let's see what happens.
But, sir, that's not evidence.
Do you think it's appropriate?
That's how they count the votes in
Do you
California.
think it's appropriate that they have an election and 5 days later they're nowhere close to picking a
State
winner?
and local officials acknowledge they are slow. They're urging.
No, they're crooked.
They're urging the votes to be counted quickly. That's how they vote in California.
They're crooked, just like you're crooked. Your press is crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked.
To be fair, I'm not crooked, but let's
Really?
Let's
well,
continue.
you play right into their hands.
Let's continue.
You're either crooked or you're stupid.
Last time a left-wing media news outlet pulled the there's no evidence of that, it resulted in an emoji on my show, an emoticon. There's no evidence of that, sir. Here's an LA County election official trying to explain why, again, the Trump... Motley's in the chat. Motley's in the chat. Motley's in the chat. We love us some Motleys. The Muttley Sir combo is devastating. It's a lot. It's like the Marvel DC crossover event I spoke about last week. The Muttley Sir combo, the chat should just like nuke itself like a mushroom cloud. That is way too much humor for one chat room. A Muttley Sir combo. Tear it up in the chat. Tear it up. I need to see the chat because it's your show too. It's always been your show. I love doing this show. Listen to this guy in LA trying to explain why they still can't count the vote. And I want you to, like, for a second, just try to be objective and tell me if you buy any of this stuff. You tell me how. My daughter just took a test, my youngest one. It's a statewide test in Florida. She comes home, same day. Dad, I got on this test. I said, wow, great job, Amelia. I'm like, they do it quick now? Yeah, right away, instantly. Remember Scantrons when we were in school? You knew the test result the minute they put the freaking Scantron sheet in there. How the hell can't they count a freaking ballot? Here, Newsom, just ask Ron DeSantis in Florida how they do it. You could do that, you just don't want to. Listen to these people try to explain this away. Check this out.
Why is this taking so long? What do you want to say to them?
Well, actually, in truth, we're ahead of the pace that we've been in past elections. The reality is in California, the election laws allow voters the greatest opportunity and options for when and where to cast their ballot.
At LA County's ballot processing center, about 400 employees are working 2 10 to 12-hour shifts following Tuesday's primary election. Dean Logan is the county's registrar recorder and county clerk.
It's pretty close to nonstop, pretty close to around the clock. Obviously, for transparency purposes, we don't want to be counting ballots in the dark of night.
Californians can vote in person or use drop-off boxes or by mail. Professor Christian Gross is the director of USC's Democracy and Fair Elections Lab. He says a lot of people waited until the last minute to mail their ballots.
The U.S. Postal Service has gotten slower. They have less resources. Mail takes longer than it used to, especially coming from places that are more rural.
The professor says the process may feel a bit slower this time around because there are so many tight contests like the governor's race and LA mayor, so projections can't be made.
Holy Moses, I was just thinking about it. I took 2 standardized tests. Wait, I mean, even though it's not citing, wait, Andy, can I get a dispensation? It has something to do with education, but it's not like, are you okay in the chat? You know the rules, right? You cite your education or even hint at it, you're probably a jerk off. So I hate that. Look at me, I got an MD, PhD. Great, congratulations, bro. You're awesome. We love you. My dispensation good, Andy? Okay. I took the GMATs and the MCATs within 6 months of each other. I have to go look at the dates, but it was bang, bang, bang. Folks, you get the score right away. You get the score right away. How hard is it to count a freaking vote? I vote for this guy. I vote for that guy. There, 1 for this guy. What do we have to do? You ever see these guys in prison who mark the days left and they put 5 and then they 5 lines, they scrape them into a wall? Do we have to do that? It reminds me of that line from The Usual Suspects. Remember that line? Hey, we can place you in Queens on the night of the robbery. Yeah, I live in Queens. You got a team of monkeys working around the clock on that? How hard is this to do? Just count the freaking votes. Count them, and if it comes in after Election Day, it's no good. Ask Florida. Could someone contact Ron DeSantis' office, please? Governor DeSantis, can you just give Gavin Newsom a call and just tell him how we do it in Florida? Florida, it's polls close at 8 or 9. It's within 5 minutes, you got results coming in. And then things done in an hour or 2. This isn't hard. I can't with these guys. How do you compare and contrast the modern MAGA movement? Federal bureaucracy going down, job numbers solid, GDP growth's really good. We've got just this energy revolution going on. You've got the safest America you've ever lived in. You've got all this stuff happening. These are real numbers. And you compare and contrast it with a bunch of goofballs in California who don't even know how to do a Scantron test we call elections, right? And then all you got the left whining about is the Epstein class and the billionaires. They don't have anything else. Donald Trump, pedos, Erica Kirk, Dan Bunch of pedo. This is all they have. They don't have anything. It's their guys.
It's a data point.
It's a data point. It's a data point. All right, last break, and I got another gem. This, again, showing you how when Democrats try to create a contrast, you always got to point out what you're doing versus what someone else is talking about and not doing. The contrast matters when you bring the receipts. But watch what happens when the Democrats try to create a contrast, and it totally freaking blows up in their face. This is just glorious. Again, a reminder, no show tomorrow. Everything's cool in case you're tuning in a little bit late. I will be back on Wednesday live. Haley and Vince will be on their shows tomorrow, so we're cool. And then Monday, I will not be in on Monday either. I've got a special event. So, life sometimes gets in the way. And it's a live show. Folks, we used to, not that you really should care about this, and Guy hates when I talk about internal stuff, but once in a while we would tape a show in advance. I don't like it, especially with Donald Trump in office, because the news cycle is just bang, bang. I don't like it. I'd rather just not do a show and only tape something and, it's a live show. It's meant to be live, unless there's some kind of emergency or something. There you go. So got that. Hey, most people don't wake up and choose to feel exhausted or foggy. It builds up over time. You're doing everything right. Your energy just crashes by midday. Your focus feels off. Your body's just not responding the way it's used to. Unfortunately, I know all too much about this. These aren't discipline issues. They're signals that become signals that hormones, metabolism, or nutrient levels may be out of balance. This is one of my favorite new sponsors. They came to the office. Simple blood test. I learned so much. Joy and Blokes was created for people who are tired of guessing and being dismissed. I'm already super health focused, but I realized I hadn't done a really comprehensive lab in a long time. I was just checking the same things. It's stuff I hadn't really thought about. Joy and Blokes, they came to the office, drew some blood. Within a week, I had insights across 71 biomarkers. A couple of them I'm pretty darn glad I did. And consult with a licensed clinician. They helped turn that data into a personalized plan I actioned about 2 weeks ago. I already feel better. It's time to stop guessing and start getting real answers about what's going on in this machine you call your body. Go to joyandblokes.com/Bongino. That's JOI, and use code Bongino for 65% off your labs and 20% off all supplements. It's a big savings. That's joyandblokes.com/Bongino, JOI and blokes.com/Bongino. Use code Bongino for 65% off your labs and 20% off all supplements. Can't recommend it enough. Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA, are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition, not available in all states, prescription required. Visit joyandblokes.com for terms and restrictions. Thanks, Joy and Blokes. And our last sponsor today, Birch Gold. When there are supply constraints on commodities, prices surge. You saw it with fuel prices, with the Strait, and now you see what else is a limited commodity? Gold. They mine it out of the ground, and when it's gone, it's gone. Governments can't just print more gold. That's why I'm a big fan of gold. That's why everyone from central banks to savvy savers are diversified with gold, and why I believe smart retirement savers should at least learn about physical gold. Gold isn't a government promise. It's real, tangible wealth people have trusted for thousands of years, especially when paper promises feel shaky. With Birch Gold Group, you can get help diversifying an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA backed by gold. Text Dan to 989898 right now, and Birch Gold will send you a free info kit on gold. No pressure, just information you can use to make your own decision. Because when your gut tells you something's not right, it's time to listen. Text Dan to 989898. Again, text Dan to 989898. Own some gold from Birch Gold. Message and data rates may apply. Thanks, Birch Gold. I needed you to see this. This is what happens when crazy lunatic liberals try to create a contrast but don't have actual receipts to back it up. They never do. Everything they tell you is bullshit. Here's Ana Navarro on CNN. Billionaires love liberals. There's a billionaire running for the California governor's race, Tom Steyer, big liberal, but they can't even count the damn votes. Why doesn't he donate some of his money to a PAC that helps clean up the damn election systems? Billionaires love liberals. They get their little tax code carve-outs. They get their subsidies. They get their cheap immigrant labor. They get their regulatory capture. They get the first mover advantage of government icing out the little guy. Liberals, billionaires and liberals, they're buddies. They're buddies. Don't buy the bullshit. Check this out.
Donald Trump lives in a white billionaire bubble. And if you are a multimillionaire, if you are a billionaire, you're doing very well because the stock market, despite everything else that's going on, is going strong. But if you are one of the people who shops at Costco and goes home with 30 rolls of toilet paper and 20 pounds of, ground beef, you are feeling it. And these people that Trump hangs out with on a daily basis, the billionaires in his cabinet, the billionaires at Mar-a-Lago, the billionaires that he invites to the White House, they are not feeling it. And he just, he is clueless. When he says that affordability doesn't mean anything to anybody, it means a hell of a lot to the people who can't get health care
now are
because
Democrats.
those premiums, actually they're not.
Yes, they are. For every billionaire who gave Donald Trump money, Kamala Harris got 2.
All right.
So this is really a Democrat issue now.
There's a lot of billionaires in Mar-a-Lago.
Body of Sargon spitting facts there. That billionaires love Donald Trump. Maybe some billionaires do, but more billionaires seem to love Kamala Harris because billionaires love an overly aggressive government because the regulatory costs of small business and mid-sized business competitors to comply with the government create a first mover, a like Porter's 5 forces advantage where the first person out of the gate winds up winning because the little guy can't catch up because they don't have a 6,000 person legal department to handle the government. It's like the cost of competition. Liberals love billionaires and billionaires love them back. They are totally full of shit. Billionaires have been given to Democrats forever with the hope that it's the Republicans. It's the old conservative guard here that has been arguing forever for a free and fair economy where everybody gets the same shot. No one gets special gifts. It's the Democrats doing all this stuff. Donald Trump brought it up himself in one of the debates with Hillary with all the special tax code carve-outs. He's like, because you guys want all this. Of course people are going to. That's why billionaires love them. I know. And Justin's like, what are you talking about? Like, I buy ground beef. Justin's like, do you get like the healthy ground? I like the one with the fat in it. You got to roll that fat in there, that ground beef. Grass-fed, 90, I like it. Yeah, I need some of the fat in there. And then you get, of course, from the Democrats again, a bunch of nothing is happening people who want to panic you before the midterms to make you believe that nothing is happening when, in fact, things are happening everywhere. I don't know if you saw this, folks, but another big, huge, enormous law enforcement, public safety story that doomers and pillars and others are going to tell you nothing's happening because they want to lose. I told you, they want to come and shit in your Cheerios bowl and pretend nothing happened. You ever see that scene from Police Academy 2, whatever it was, where the cat takes a dump in the guy's cereal and he flips it out? It's one of the most disgusting scenes of all time. You guys remember my aging myself now? Like that was a movie back in the day. It was a satirical comedy, Police Academy. That's the Democrats and the pillars. They want to come in and take a big dump in your bowl of Cheerios because they don't want you to know this stuff. Here was acting Attorney General, hopefully soon to be Attorney General, Todd Blanche, who Donald Trump has picked for the role. We'll see what happens with the Senate. Talking about another huge news story that you need to hear about and you need to vote on. You want a safe America? You're getting one right now. Don't change course. Check this out.
In Kansas and California that you found, and they were providing material support to ISIS. And the details are quite something. One said it was sick if his name was on a drone that would kill American service members. Another person said they always wanted to kill a female soldier by beheading. I wish I could kill 300 million Americans. These are bad guys, and now they're indicted.
Yes, this is a very disturbing case. You have young men, they're in their 20s, completely indoctrinated by terrorism and by terrorists and actually spending money to actually follow through on these attacks. Like you just said, one wanted their name written on a drone to kill Americans. One fantasized about killing a female soldier by beheading her. And look, another great example of hardworking FBI agents and our federal prosecutors in California and Kansas and working together. And I'm glad we were able to interject here and stop these men. But it's a good reminder to the Americans that this fight is not over. There are still a lot of people that want to inject harm into this country and our citizens.
You know, I've been telling you about this drone threat for a long time. This is real. I saw, thank you, audience archivist Judy S. She's been with us forever. That was actually my mother's name. It's not a lot. You don't meet a lot of Judys. It was a popular name after the Wizard of Oz and Judy Garland. And you don't see a lot of Judys anymore. But she, on her, I forget what her Twitter is, but on her X account, she posted a link to, I think the show is only on SoundCloud, of me talking about drones, seriously, like 10 years ago, how huge of a problem this is. So we had Sebastian Gorka, counterterror advisor to President Trump, on last week. And he's not lying. Like, this was an obsession of mine when I got in there, because this is a very real threat. It's only a matter of time before one of these hits happens here. And we've got to make sure we stay on top of it. And I promise you, like, this administration is absolutely resolute and understands the gravity of this threat. So, I love also these Maha moments. I'm a health hacker. You see it. I talk about it all the time. And I like to leave you with these little points. I'm about 80-20 on this. The show's for you. I enjoy the interaction. The chat makes the show, I think, special in that it's your show too. Many of you have been with me a long time. I appreciate seeing you every day. We're about 80-20. About 20% of people are like, I don't really listen for like health tips or whatever. And that's cool. That's fine. Like, not every piece of content is going to be for every single person. But I feel, my obligation, given what I've been through health-wise, like, to put this stuff out there. We love Dr. Rhonda, right? She was on the show, Dr. Rhonda Patrick. She's fantastic. Here is our Maha moment of the day, where she's talking about a really serious problem. These people who tell you, like, hey, man, I operate on like 3-4 hours sleep every night. And it's all right. If you have to, you have to. I worked midnights at the White House for a long time, and I probably slept 4 hours because you have to. I understand. You got working people out there. But if it's optional, and you're not like in a really bad work time where your hours are crunched and compressed, folks, you got to sleep, man. It is the ultimate life hack. It is the quickest way to like destroy your health. Here she talks about the consequences of not getting good sleep. Check this out.
It's kind of mind-blowing how quickly you can gain visceral fat. Like, sleep is a big one. When you miss sleep, that is something that you can start to gain visceral fat very quickly. There was a study in healthy young men. These men were sleep restricted. Typically, when sleep restriction studies are done, you're looking at 4 hours of sleep per night. So pretty severe. Not out of the ordinary. I did many of those, college, graduate school, deadlines, definitely as a new parent. I mean, it's unfortunately drags on for months. So these men were only sleeping 4 hours a night for 2 weeks. Okay, these were healthy young men, college-age students, okay, young. They gained 11% visceral fat after that 2 weeks, but not a pound on the scale. But they had 11% higher visceral fat after just, 2 weeks of not getting enough sleep.
And they weighed the same?
Pretty much.
So it was the composition of their body that's shifting?
Yes.
Hey, man, I know it's hard. I did shift work for 5 years. It was brutal, and life gets in the way. Not everything's perfect. You're not going to get to sleep in a feather bed in pitch dark, 65 degrees, 8 hours a night. But if you can, try to get it done. Thank you for all the comments in the chat. Some of you really love this stuff. Some of you don't, but I like to keep the show like really diverse. All right, listen, I'm really sorry we have to do this. But if something happens, I want the truth out there. The truth is out there for people to find. And the thing is, they don't want to find it. And, I'm just a guy with a wife and kids like anyone else. I have no special powers. I'm a pretty busted up 51-year-old guy who's been through a lot of crap. And was a great experience. And I'm not talking about the last year. I'm talking about just like with the cancer and stuff. That was an amazing experience and I loved it. And I'm glad I did it. And I'm proud of it. Between the violent crime crackdown, the internal reforms, the drone program, the FISA reforms, the personnel moves, the reorganization. And yes, I'm also proud of all of the push for transparency, and not just the Epstein case, but others. Again, I'm not a superhero, man. I'm not Magneto. But if something happens, I want the truth out there. Because I want you to know who's lying to you or not. Because I promise, this has nothing to do with that. This has everything to do with the position I took a long time ago against people who've singled out a group of people and want to do this collective identity politics, leftist bullshit as a way to divide our movement. And I'm not going to let it happen. If that ever becomes our movement, then I'm out. We'll start our own movement. But that's not it. So again, no show tomorrow. I will be back on Wednesday, hopefully with some really cool updates. I really appreciate you guys. I have to bounce, as they say, up in New York. Haley, it's up at noon, rumble.com/Haley. Also, every day at 8 a.m. Eastern time, the king of morning podcasting, Vince Colon-Ace, rumble.com/Vince. Really appreciate you guys checking them out. Download the free Rumble app. It is absolutely free. You can also watch it on your TV. And if you like the new shirt, store.bongino.com. It was the only way to celebrate, I think, the 250th, 250 years of kicking ass. That's what we do, and that's what we do best. Still undefeated, if you want to check that out. I will see you back here on Wednesday. There you go.
I'm Haley Caradia,
host of Vince,
host of Scrolling with Haley.
You can always catch my show right here
on the Bongino Report.
Live, 8 a.m. Eastern, weekday mornings.
Weekdays at noon. If you miss it, no worries. The show will always be
right here
and anywhere you find podcasts. Thanks for watching.